Star Wars really loves Lone Wolf and Cub, especially recently, and a lot of people start to notice, but is it becoming an issue? Before we get into it, what is Lone Wolf and Cub? It's a Japanese manga from the 1970s, and to give it a very brief summary, it follows Ogami Ito, who takes on the role of an assassin while taking care of his young son and seeking revenge on those who have done him wrong. It's probably one of the most influential pieces of modern media as it spawned the lone wolf and cub trope of grown adult takes care of young child while going through dangerous situations. Some more popular stories that use this trope are Aliens, Logan, and the video games The Last of Us and the God of War reboot, just to name a few. But Star Wars is no stranger to this trope. The Mandalorian is the perfect example with Din protecting Grogu, the Obi-Wan Kenobi show has Obi-Wan protecting Leia, and you can even point to the Bad Batch with Clone Force 99 bringing Omega onto their crew. And now it seems like with what little we officially know, along with some rumors, that Starfighter, the next Star Wars movie that comes out in May 2027, may also be inspired by Lone Wolf and Cub, with Ryan Gosling's character tasked with protecting Flynn Gray's character. But is the frequency of use of this trope getting to be a bit too much? To some, I noticed it was getting to that point when they started connecting the dots based on what we knew of Starfighter, and them going, really? Taking care of a kid? Again? But I think it's going to depend on how the trope is used in the story. With the examples I mentioned, especially non-Star Wars, you probably wouldn't consider them to be the same story, or didn't even think about the trope. I also think it'll depend on the relationship between Ryan and Flynn's characters and how capable Flynn's character is. Will he be more like an early Mando Grogu, or later Bad Batch Omega? Like, is he capable of taking care of himself early on, and how does that affect their dynamic throughout the movie? I also think with this being a movie and those other Star Wars examples being shows, it will expose a bigger audience to the trope in Star Wars because even with Mando and Kenobi being as big as they were, movies tend to grab a bigger audience. And I know some will cite The Mandalorian and Grogu that just came out for that trope on the big screen, but I'd argue at this point in their story that while it's still a grown man and child, they're definitely more equals, and even to a point where Grogu is taking care of Din and can do things on his own, so it may not be the best example of that trope. But what do you think? Is the lone wolf and cub trope becoming too common in Star Wars? And if it is a thing in Starfighter, what are some ways it could still be new and fresh?